and camera evidence from residences and businesses. That's going to take us a long time. But it did compel the staff of the fire department, our PIO, myself, to get in front of this and just meet with our partners in the media, answer questions, share as much as we possibly can, and be transparent as possible throughout this process. So that's the purpose of us being here. I do want to answer questions. Some of the details that we know thus far is we're at 8 acres in area between all the different fires. We had no injuries on any of the fires, and we had no property loss on any of the fires. The combination of the variables that we can't control for, the relative humidity, which is extremely low, it was below 20%, the wind gusts, similar to what we're experiencing as I stand in the same spot right now, and the heat, which was almost 100 degrees at the time of the fire. We can't control those variables, and those were all stacked against us. Our firefighters, the incident commanders, our partners in the air just did an absolute phenomenal job. And that partnership and that communication and the relationships that we have with those partners were really what set us up for success against the variables or the elements that we had. So with that all being said, and the good part of this, I'll entertain any questions and try to get answered as many as I can.
You said 4 purposely set fires.
4 other set fires besides the one that we had here.
Timeline, could it be one person, or could it be?
The scenario is we're here, start fighting this fire, and we went to 3 alarms plus. We had a out of area strike team. You saw the chaos with the amount of air resources that we had. While we were here, those other fire starting occurring. They were in close proximity to our location here, so they are definitely suspicious. So timeline wise, I couldn't tell you exactly when they were started, but they were started while we were fighting here. And to follow up on your question, and the reason why I'm so frustrated is that there was a human-caused fire in an area of egress for our community. We're purposefully evacuating people under a level 3 evacuation, and fire is prohibiting their exit. That doesn't get any more serious. And 2, fires working behind us or below us in a wildland-urban interface situation, that additional tactical challenge is extremely dangerous in fire behavior for our firefighters, and certainly not something that you would ever expect. If you can imagine focusing forward on a fire that is getting ready to overtake the businesses and the houses and yourself, at the same time you have a fire that's set behind you that you don't even know about. So worst case scenario for us and our people, and we're certainly searching for the person or persons responsible for setting those fires.
Can you explain how you know those 4 other fires weren't just connected to this, and the spotting and kind of where they are? Because I'm not too familiar with their...
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, they're behind us, which were against the winds were prevalent this direction, and where the spots were the opposite direction.
So I saw one tree up there with some foam on it yesterday.
That was probably one, and there's another one farther down. Yes, sir.
Okay.
One on Government Way and then one on 4th. None of those are connected to the main body of fire, even through ember travel. It physically impossible to have traveled that far. So, and against the wind pattern, we've got burn patterns on the ground that point directly to where somebody started a fire. It is pretty clear and equally concerning.
And just to be clear, so we're basically 5 fires. We know this major one, human caused. You don't know if it was intentional or accidental.
Correct.
The other 4, human caused, intentional.
My view at this point is those were intentional.
And this one's still kind of up in the air.
Right. We've got a joint jurisdictional group that is responsible for the investigation for that fire, and the other ones are getting put together in a complex. So, so as soon as we can release information from their investigation, we will.
In terms of the law enforcement aspect, which agencies will be investigating this?
Spokane Police Department is the primary law enforcement agency. We've got a cooperator that works with the fire department, ATF. which is a certified fire investigator that works with them. He, actually the agency, works with us in concert during fire investigations as a peer. So they're connected into that task force, and they're on the ground doing a lot of the work right now. In fact, we saw one just leave a few minutes ago.
So were the 4 other fires in West Spokane area, is that fair to say?
Yeah, right in the area where we're at, the other direction of the wind, plus down on Government Way, but essentially west, what I would call West Plains. I'm sorry, you had your hand up first, and I.
Well, regarding the writing that was found
Right.
in downtown Spokane, do we believe that they were written or posted up there prior to yesterday's fires, or when do we know?
What do we know? So we know the first report law enforcement got was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we heard about it at the incident command post
Today or
yesterday.
yesterday?
Yeah, 0800 yesterday. It was dated 8/3, and those were written in the morning. And then obviously the fires later were certainly suspicious and caused some concern from a number of people across the community. We haven't found a direct connection between those messages that were downtown to these fires, but that's certainly an important part of this investigation.
So those were at 8 a.m.
Yeah, that was right. That was the first call that was made through the law enforcement system, crime check, that I'm familiar with.
That the graffiti was reported?
Yes, sir.
And was that graffiti only reported on the viaducts by the steam plant grill, or was it found in other places downtown?
I've been told it's been found other places, but I don't know the locations. But the steam plant was obviously the one that I think got the most media, or not most media, social media play. Any other questions? All right.
Who's on this fire today besides you guys?
Oh, good question. So it's all City of Spokane Fire Department and DNR. DNR is here voluntarily helping us out, which I can't say. I mean, if there was one message, you heard me emphasize the partnership and the relationships. DNR has just been an outstanding partner for us. They have a prison program where they use inmates, train them in wildland firefighting, and then they become an asset for us regionally. That is the vehicle that's down there, and they're working hard to dig a line. Probably the hardest manual part of wildland firefighting is digging into earth and getting down to mineral ore to create a good fire line, and that's what they're doing right now for us.
And no structures were damaged as part of the 4 fires?
Nope, we have no structural damage, which was amazing. I mean, based on the fire behavior that you saw and that you reported on, the outcome is just outstanding, and we're exceptionally blessed that we had the people in place, we had the training, and that we had the support with our partners. Without that trilogy, or without those things being aligned, we certainly would have lost businesses, homes, single-family homes, and multiple family residences, the apartments behind us, and it just goes on. That is why we have been, for the last 2 years, really focused on fuels mitigation. I know you've done a story, and a number of other stations have reported on our fire mitigation efforts and us bringing a person in to manage that. They work across the city infrastructure, parks, water department, and all of the agencies that own property in Spokane to reduce the wildfire risk, and they're constantly having to do that. It's an ongoing process, funded mainly by grants. But if there was an educational message for this to go back to people, the discussion about home ignition zone, 30 and 100 feet, now would be a great time to do it with the weather that's incoming. It's supposed to get cooler. We're going to have a lot of recovery in the atmosphere, and we're going to have some precipitation, double what we had in all of July. So that'll give people a good opportunity to get out, develop that home ignition zone, 30 feet and 100 feet for the bigger picture, and be prepared. Because I think this is a wake-up call. In fact, there's been 3 wake-up calls: the fire up north, the one on the bluff in Coeur d'Alene Park, and then this one. So all certainly potentially devastating wildland fires that were in the urban interface area. Good?
One quick question.
Okay.
Sorry, I know there's significant air support yesterday. Were those called in as those other fires sparked up, or was that initially part of that initial fire?
That was part of the initial fire. Actually, when I got there, we tied in and ordered those air resources immediately because we could tell just the fire behavior. Anytime you have trees that are torching or torching in groups like we had, that preheats the fuel in front of it, and the fuel in front of it gets preheated and becomes explosive. The fuel, the potential energy that is in one ponderosa pine in our community is staggering, and I'm sure you've seen just the BTUs that are released from one pine tree when it torches. It is completely, what's a good word?
Flammable.
Thank you. No, it certainly creates a dangerous situation for the community. We love them. We love having living in the city that we live in, but we have to take precautions, and that means having a very healthy forest, and that takes work.
I have a two-part question.
Part A.
Knowing obviously that there is an arsonist, a potential arsonist roaming about, are you feared? Do you have any concerns at all for the safety of firefighters? That's the first part. And second, is it going to change the way that the fire department responds to any of these wildfires that pop up?
I've got one of those beetles crawling up my leg right now. So,
Had a lot of those
yeah.
horrible.
Sorry. So part A. Part A is, yes, we're very concerned, and we're taking action with our law enforcement partners, whether it's increased patrols or increased presence. We're certainly going to continue being situationally aware of the small starts and following up on all those and watching, but we need the community's help as well. If they see suspicious activity, even a wisp of smoke in conditions like this, they need to call 911. And anybody that may capture using the Ring doorbell system or other type of surveillance, they need to share that with law enforcement as soon as they become aware that they have a suspect or have suspicious activity occurring. And then part two, remind me what part two was.
Is it going to change the way that you respond to
Right.
any of these calls?
No, we respond in a standard manner and based on generations of experience. So the 10 fire standard, or oh my gosh, I can't speak today. He's like taking off his shirt. It's really weird.
Got beetles up here.
Yeah, I know, they're everywhere, sorry. The 10 and 18 are the standard orders and safety rules that we follow. Those are there for a reason, and they're all connected with firefighter, devastating fires and firefighter fatalities. So those are really our anchor point. And then from there, the way we deploy our standard of cover and the way we respond, it's all in policy, and it's built to have the safest work environment possible. So that's going to continue, and I don't anticipate ever reducing that level of service or reducing that level of safety.
I guess I was more wondering is there going to be more of an increased police presence when you initially are dispatched to these types of fires?
You know, fortunately, we had you saw it, a huge police presence yesterday from county, city, and WSB. And they're normally at all of our fires because law enforcement's responsibility on a fast-moving fire is evacuations. So they're always going to be partners in us when we manage fires like this. I don't think that'll change. It won't go more, it won't go less, because oftentimes they give us all the help we need.
How long will crews be on scene today?
1900, we were just discussing that. So 7 o'clock, it'll be in patrol status until 7 p.m. tonight, and then everybody will be off the fire line, and we'll just be watching it occasionally.
And I had one last question. Would you say that suspicious fires in Spokane have increased this summer, or?
They have. So, right, they have, and I've got the numbers, I can send them to you, but we were just pulling some of the data. And the data is really challenging for us because of the way that we report. A dumpster fire is suspicious and could be called suspicious, and fires in alleys. So we have to go through all that data and mine it correctly. The investigation office, the ones that they investigate with dollar loss or injury or human loss, those have even gone up. So across the board, our incident volume and our number of suspicious fires have all increased. And you're going to ask me for the specific numbers, and I'll get them, but it's not going to be this weekend. I think we're going to spend some time recovering this weekend and go after it next week. Good, 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 good.
You said that these fires were intentionally set. Does that rule out the possibility that it was, say, a campfire that got out of control?
Yeah, all of the accidental causes have been ruled out in those other fires. That's why I'm moving forward with the intentional category. All right. Thanks, y'all. Yeah.
Thanks.